All right, a very warm welcome to the Gardener's Triplicity. I'm your host, Gardner, and today we are talking about how you can keep calm and listen. Done around 3 to 4 episodes on the power of silence, why you should keep silent. But in those 3 to 4 episodes that I did, I came to realize that there was something missing. There was some aspect that is very important that I was missing. And this took me back to Simon Sinek's book, Leaders Eat Last. Simon Sinek was trying to explain one of the leadership traits of keeping calm and silent. In the text of the book, Simon Sinek talks about Nelson Mandela. He talks about how Nelson Mandela always followed his father, Nkosi Pakayiswa Gadla. Nkosi Pakayiswa Gadla, or Henry, was the father to Nelson Mandela. He was a village headsman, or a chief, if you may like, of Mvesu. And among his roles was to preside over local ceremonies, which included traditional rites such as marriage, birth, funeral services, and even other harvest initiations and ceremonies. But when during the clan or tribal meetings, Nkosi Pakayiswa would speak last. He allowed other leaders to air out their opinions, to air out their ideas. And whenever they were through, he would rise up to talk. But whenever he spoke, he commanded respect of the leaders. He commanded their thoughts. He commanded the leaders' attention. He commanded their understanding to an extent that they would conquer with whatever he said. Now the question is, what was the secret? What was Nkosi Pakayiswa doing in his silence as he heard other leaders speak? This is the same character trait we see with Simon Peter when the Christ asked them who they thought he was. As the disciples were murmuring to answer, Simon Peter was silent. And in his silence came the answer. So the question here that I'm trying to analyze is, what do you do in the silence? Because it's not a matter of just keeping silent, but there are essential questions that you need to be asking yourself so that to come up with the right answer. It's not a matter of just sitting down there or there and keeping quiet. There should be something moving on in your mind. And the first question you should be asking yourself is, am I understanding the real cause of the problem at hand? This is a technique used by majority of the doctors. When you go to a doctor, the first thing they do is to analyze, is to ask, is to understand the cause of the problem you are facing. Or else, you'll end up treating symptoms rather than treating the cause. As you're seated there, you need to refine the problem in your mind. Collect the data. Listen to the people that are speaking before you. Listen to what everybody is raising. Once you listen to what everyone is providing, then that information should give you an overview of what the problem is all about. And how do you analyze? 1, you need to appreciate that there is a problem. 2, you need to ask yourself why. Why is this problem occurring? Why? Until it zeroes down to the cause. Finally, drill down to the best alternative that you think can solve the problem. Then you need to move to the next question. The next question should be concerning your awareness. And once you're trying to analyze, you're trying to be aware, you're trying to take control of what is happening. Ask yourself, is it physical? That means, is it tangible? For example, if it is a vehicle, why are the brakes not working? Where did it go wrong? Second, ask yourself, is it a human problem? Who did what? Who did what? Who is responsible for what? You need to analyze that. Then the third, is it an organizational issue? And when we talk about organizational issues, you're trying to ascertain whether it is a system failure, whether it is a process failure, or whether it is a policy failure. Then you need to feel. Feeling is like peeling an onion. It is a layer after layer. So as you listen to these people bring forth their arguments, bring forth their opinions, know that behind those arguments and behind those opinions lies another layer. Just like how the onion is. Once you peel the first layer, you rest assured of the second layer, the third layer, and so on and so forth. Now, in your silence, you try to ascertain what layer is responsible for the problem that you're facing at hand. Do not get attached to your emotions. Separate your feelings from the issue at hand. Write down how you feel, because it's from how you feel that will help you determine what way to move forward. Be mindful. You need to be mindful of everybody's opinion. Don't take sides. It is too early to take sides. And the final step to ask yourself in your calmness or in your silence is to let go. Whatever is in the way, you need to let go. And letting go starts with letting go of your emotions. Do not mix your emotions with a problem at hand. Separate. When you feel you're being attached, let go of those emotions that are making you get attached to that problem. Then you need to let go of the things you cannot control. Remember, the power lies not in how you control things, but in how you respond to the things that are at hand. And this is the greatest of all. So separate yourself, to accept yourself, to sink in until you come to the right answer. Sink in to all that has been aired and filter and analyze what really could be the cause and what input you can give to solve that problem that is at hand. In your silence, once you ascertain, once you ask yourself these 3 questions and answer them in the deepest of your thoughts, you'll be able to come up with a conclusive argument, not just to argue, but an argument that brings forth results, an argument that compels other people to reason with you and solve the problem that is at hand.
Remember where you learnt it from. The Gardener's Field.